Or was it a trick of the light? To his delight, he has metal to munch. Das Gepäck, right of your screen, for Germany. Fluffy for the UK, with the spinning blade. Das Gepäck's weaponry, really, the spikes aren't greatly effective, but it can push and ram. 95 kilos, the German machine. Actually the lighter of the two by 5 kilos, turning away, can get up to 20 mile an hour top speed. Mind you, so can Fluffy. Very well balanced and well set up this final. By far and away the best two machines we've seen. Was that a bit of metal, a shard that flew across the arena there from Das Gepäck? They look okay. They slam into Fluffy and lock horns. They've got a grip here of Fluffy. No. UK machine breaks away. Trying to, I think, launch a side-on attack on Das Gepäck. In other words, to get away from those spikes, one of which is wobbling and totally ineffective anyway. They want to come in on the side, Fluffy. There goes the pit. They'll have to steer away from that. We've seen good control, though, from the German team. Case Seeking is driving for his captain, Peter. Das Gepäck almost on to Sergeant Bash. Fluffy there as well. Fluffy right in front of Das Gepäck. The pit yawns. What's Das Gepäck doing here now? Trying to draw Fluffy towards him and into the pit. I don't think they'll fall for that one. At this stage, I can't pick this. It's too close. No great damage caused or sustained. Reasonable level of driving ability. Has the Fluffy weaponry stopped? That could be decisive if it goes to the judges. Mind you, the Das Gepäck weaponry has hardly been effective throughout. It's going to go to the judges, isn't it? Look, within seconds. I can't see this one ending prematurely, and I can't see a way for the judges to make a decision. I couldn't, on what I've seen. That is so close.
Wow! Yeah, that was good, man. Whoa! Was that helemaal?
2, 1.
Don't forget, they're fighting for the one remaining series semi-final place. The Disco Inferno boys feared it would be over very, very quickly. They need to stay in the centre of the arena, otherwise Bigger Brother will flip them straight out. And Disco Inferno is trying a side-on attack. Now, Disco Inferno is very vulnerable to attack from the rear. They realise that and quickly scuttled away from Bigger Brother. Did you notice that? They're trying basically to stay out of trouble. They get themselves in a right old pickle, Disco Inferno. And they're on the arena sidewall. They got Sekil on one side, they got the Bigger Brother flip on the other side. Talk about between a rock and a hard place. Oh! Bigger Brother's in there again and lifting Disco Inferno up. Bigger Brother only once has failed to reach a series semi-final. And again, progressive, but Disco Inferno is still in there fighting. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's Flipperman! Little Joe Watts at the controls. And Bigger Brother with Joe at the weapons, ready to flip Disco Inferno another time. 5 centimetres of ground clearance, Disco Inferno, an Achilles heel to come into the arena with that sort of ground clearance. They're on the angle grinder. In drives Bigger Brother once again, on top throughout this heat final. What can Disco Inferno do here? Just stay in there, I would think. Is their spinning disc still rotating? I don't think it is, really. Are the disco flashing lights still flashing? I don't think they are. Maybe flickering like their hopes. Flickering only to fade. Bigger Brother somehow has released the pit. You can hear there the alarm. And it's just a matter of time, isn't it? Before the axe of shunt comes down and it's the slow dance, the last dance of the night. And they chose to exit very quickly. Why not, eh?
3, 2, 1.
Got to admit, I'm intrigued by Anarchy. It's not the slowest walker we've seen either in Robot Wars history. Incredible. Turning there. Sleek. Black. Mean looking with the 1000 RPM spinning disc. Moving at roughly 80 miles an hour. Those tyres, though, look very exposed, and I wonder whether Peter Wilmot, Martin Campbell and Chris Brooks have the experience against Mike Franklin, who's been in heat finals before with 101, reached the series semi-final in Robot Wars 3, actually. Lost to Hypnodisc with his machine 101, which cost £1 and a penny to build. Oh, he's invested more time and I would say cash in Anarchy with weaponry like that. The flipper in underneath Incredible, exposing the 1 centimetre ground clearance. And Anarchy has weight and weaponry to match this time. And you could be looking at a robot to go all the way. I'm not talking about Incredible, because they're not going to go a lot further now that Sergeant Bash has them in his grips. Anarchy with another blow. You see the legs there moving? Scuttling. Down comes the axe blade of Anarchy. Just watch this design, potential robot ears. Incredible against the arena sidewall. In comes Growler. This is the first time the Incredible team has competed. They've done well to get to this stage. They've met a very good and mean machine here in Anarchy. There's little Amy. Likes her dancing, likes playing the piano. Got to mention Steve Bickle, who's the team mechanic in the pits with them as well. And Incredible about to be counted out. And into a little peace and quiet, I would imagine. Invertible, that won't worry it being flicked like that. Smashing against the ref bot and counted out. Anarchy look very good, don't they? The ref bot shrugs aside Incredible with the ease. Why, with the ease that Anarchy did so as well. And Growler. Down come those horrible jaws. And Incredible is about to be dragged away somewhere nasty and unpleasant. A twirl and a whirl. Where will we finish with Incredible, what do you think? On the pit? A flame pit? I think we'll just boot him down there. Down into the cellars of the Robot Wars arena. Bye-bye, Incredible. See you again next time.
6.
Here we have a hammer and the claws of Thor against the pushability of Tornado. See, it just persistently nudges, drives, pushes, comes again, Tornado. And I wonder if the Thor team, Jason Marston and Lee Cornish, have enough experience here. They certainly have the weaponry to be destructive, but Tornado already coming forward with another attack, nagging, worrying and bending and buckling. One of those pincers it seemed to be. Down comes the axe. Frightening when it thrusts down like that. You can see Andrew Marsh and David Gamble and Brian Moss in that Tornado team. Andrew, an electroacoustic engineer. What? Thor with the hammer and the wigs and the horns and the bizarre team, let's face it, on Robot Wars, but we love those. And off comes one of the side panels of Thor, revealing there the gizmo underneath. The pit release has been activated. Out comes Growler. Did you see the speed there? Growler flew out of his kennel. 420 kilos of doggy power across the arena floor. One of the Thor pincers has been buckled right up there. The other one has been bent downwards. What were they made out of? They're made of that sort of aluminium foil you put around the chicken in the oven. They're about to be roasted, Thor. Growler's in on the attack. Sergeant Bash is in on the attack. But the Thor team, I think, is about to buckle. A team of Formula One and Liverpool football fans. Well, their road to Wembley, as it were, is about to end here. last on the grid. Tornado very quick, so too Growler. Actually, they use the same sort of skid steer drive system, which makes them very nippy. And it makes Thor very vulnerable. In comes Sergeant Bash. They're just holding up. They don't want to go down in that pit. They want to prolong their Robot Wars experience, and why not? Sergeant Bash, the flamethrower out. A little bit too high, though, to score more than a scorching piece of damage on the exterior of Thor. But look how bent and bruised it is. The Tornado team have been as persistent as ever. What can you say? Has he got a picture of himself? Dear, oh dear. I don't know, perhaps it's weekend wear. Sergeant Bash in the CPZ with the Thor machine. Don't give him my address, will you, anyone? Sergeant Bash pushes Thor back again onto the centre of the arena. Tornado, a little push. Well, I'll tell you what, top marks for Thor for their competitiveness and their bravery. And that's a fairly resolute machine they've got out there as well. I'd love to see them back. The boys from Kingsthorpe near Northampton. Parts of their machine littering the arena floor. Out comes Growler. They get a cease call, and technically it goes to the judges.
3, 2, 1.
Gatrix on the right. Hydra coming in from the left. Now the top of your picture. Oh, look at that. Crunch head to head, and the axes came down as well. Commangatrix slightly the heavier, only 1 kilo in it. And again, speeds, they virtually match each other. Dennis and Andrew at the controls of Hydra. At the moment, Ian Gears Commangatrix doing the work with the axe coming down. Hydra, though, gets a side-on attack and exposes the 0.3 centimetre ground clearance of Commangatrix. Hydra again. Down comes its axe, but it just hit the arena floor. That won't count. Once more, they turn and try and get a side-on attack. Trying to get that lifter in underneath the lifting beam. Pneumatic flipper, call it what you will. Next to the sledgehammer, and they've lifted Commangatrix up and over once again. The Streamek of Commangatrix used to good effect there. But Hydra comes in once again. This is a very good display. And good driving by 13-year-old Andrew. Loves his badminton and his hockey and his tennis. Good sportsman. And Hydra again. Full frontal attack on Commangatrix, which looks the more sluggish of the two. Hydra's doing all the aggressive work here. Commangatrix is up on the arena sidewall. Needs to free itself. Rocking and rolling using the axe, but I don't think they can get off there. Hydra on the attack. I don't think they're causing great damage, to be honest, Hydra, with its sledgehammer weapon. The main problem for Commangatrix, they can't get themselves down. And the ref bot will take an anxious look at this, because if they're stranded there too long, they will be counted out. Look at them trying to inch their way down, back onto the arena floor. Can they do it? Everyone's gone very quiet. Well, they can do it, but at the loss of weaponry. They've broken their own weaponry off, Commangatrix. Part of the axe mechanism has come off. The pit release has been activated. And Hydra, with Dennis and Andrew at the controls, Dennis is controlling the weapons, by the way, have been very effective. And they have driven Commangatrix almost into submission. The axe is still working, but not the lifting beam. We saw that broken off. Hydra side by side, Sergeant Bash is in there. They were knocked out in the first round heats of Robot Wars, the 5th Wars, Hydra. And they've come back much the stronger for their experience. Commangatrix, to give credit where it's due, is still in there fighting, and they're not out of it yet. If they can drag Hydra now towards the pit, they could turn this around. They can't. Very edgy, very tense. The judges are licking their lips, I can tell you, and making notes frantically. But still at the top of your picture, Commangatrix, I think you have one hope. I think you have to shove Hydra down into the pit. Look at this. What a great tug of war.
Cease.
Whoa. Good old tussle, that. flywheel.
2, 1. Activate.
There goes the Alien, away from the arena spinning disc itself. There with the great rotating hammer weapon crashing down on Shredder, patched up, bandaged up, bruised, battered, but not yet beaten. Perhaps on fire. No, they're away. Little weaponry power, I think, for Shredder now. Can run both ways up. It's invertible. The way it's running up now seems to be protecting those blades. It's on fire, is it? No. Sparks, yes. Flames from the pit. Shredder turns away with Paul Hunt, Chris Organ and Sam Jones. Just getting away there. Neat burst of speed. Can get up to 12 miles an hour. Shredder against the Alien. There at the controls, Carl Asplin, a telecommunications engineer by trade. Shredder is spinning madly over the steam vent into the CPZ. Don't get yourself in there, robot, here, because that's where the house robots can come and play. Now a tug of war. Shredder being pushed there by the Alien. Both of them 100 kilos in weight. The Shredder turning away from the Alien. Again, this is a great tactical battle here. For me, the more destructive power lies with the Alien. Very destructive spinning hammer weapon. Shredder doesn't seem to have too much destructibility. They're locked together. This for a place in the heat final against S3. The pit release button depressed. Shredder comes in for a nudge on the Alien. Pushes back though. Into the CPZ, there in comes Shunt with the diamond edge blade coming down, the axe blade. Ferocious Shunt, all the house robots. Oh, look at that! Cleaves straight into the innards of Shredder. Now, what damage will that cause to the 750-watt drive of Shredder? Still just about running, knocked out by Mousetrap in the heats in Series 5. The team were represented by Manic Mutant in an earlier series of Robot Wars. This is the 6th Robot Wars. The Shredder boys tightly controlling their machine. Power meets power. Push and shove. No quarter arse nor given. Terrific tussle between these two. No, it's not the most destructive, but this is a different side to Robot Wars. The tenacity, the competitiveness, the durability of well-manufactured machines. Well-constructed, lovingly so. So lovingly so, we love to destroy them. In comes Shunt. The Alien now in a bit of a pickle. Down comes the weapon. I don't think it even scratched Shredder. Blasting down on the Alien, and don't forget the Alien in the Robot Wars arena. No one can hear you scream. Shredder takes on Shunt in that corner.
Cease.
Bashes back. Ceases call. It goes to a judge's decision. And well done to both teams. They'll find it hard deciding, I think.
Three, two, one. Activate.
Razor starts as red-hot favourite, but with the flipper, Raging Reality could get lucky. If Razor is overconfident, but it's got a grip already. Inside Raging Reality as the flipper came up, Razor took advantage, got the beak into the very innards of Raging Reality. That was what the Reality team feared. They're brilliant drivers, the Razor boys. They may sound confident, they've got every reason to be so. It is a hugely powerful, destructive machine, and they know what they're doing. Straight there, look, onto the tyres of Raging Reality. Up to 12 miles an hour, the Raging boys can generate fairly neat speeds. 16-year-old Lee Summers, Malcolm Summers and Nigel Paget, the weapons operator, the captain of the team. Razor, a little nudge. You can see there on the right Ian Lewis with the beard. Again coming onto the attack. Don't forget, the winner of this heat final goes into the series semi-final. They're just trying to prise open a gap there. They're trying to get that beak in, and they're succeeding. Slowly, inexorably. Just weary. Raging Reality to defeat. Can Raging Reality come back? Remember, we'd almost counted them out against Tetanus 2. in round 2 of this first heat, and they came back. But there's Matilda's flywheel, and look at the grate! Oh! Split in the side of Raging Reality. Matilda's flywheel wrecking havoc. Razor pushing them to the flywheel. That was crucial, and look at that! Metal shards ripped off, tossed out of the arena. Raging Reality's wheels now left exposed to Razor's crushing beak. The CCC factor we talked about. Crushability creates chaos. And Razor moves away as Raging Reality is left on the pit, and Razor depresses the pit button. There is no motor left in Raging Reality, and they slip slowly out of the picture. Razor. Unbelievable. And the run continues. The first heat victors are the reigning UK champions. Razor.
2, 1, activate.
What a fight, 2 of my favourite all-time robots. Wild Thing dashing away up to 12 miles an hour top speeds. Razor turning, just trying to get the feel for Wild Thing. And they have them in their grip, and down comes that hydraulic piercer and slices through the armament of Wild Thing. Isabel Adams at the weapons control of Wild Thing. Student, loves her singing, loves her drama and films. This is dramatic stuff out there. Razor, at the weapons control, we just got a glimpse of Simon Scott. Now a full-time robot here. And why not with this machine that is world famous? So is that team, the Razor boys. They now try a push of Wild Thing. Razor 96 kilos, just the lighter of the 2. This is grip and grapple stuff out there. And Wild Thing is trying to hold on so that Razor can't get the crushability factor into play. They're also trying to slice with that front cutting disc. There you see it beginning to turn, but they can't get a purchase on Razor. Razor has them within its grip. There are the exposed tyres we talked about earlier. This is very edgy stuff. Who is the more aggressive here? Is Wild Thing pushing? Is Razor dragging? Is the Wild Thing blade, we can hear it there, scraping the metal of Razor, causing any real damage? Is Razor's beak powerful enough to crumple through that Wild Thing armament? It's very close, but the tyre's about to go, and has gone. Punctured by the Razor beak, so the manoeuvrability of Wild Thing severely curtailed. Nick Adams at the controls, a self-employed electronic model supplier by Trey. And Wild Thing, not a model finalist at the moment because Razor looks to be halting its progress at the series semi-final stage. Can Wild Thing yet come back into it? Because I think that damage to the tyre could be decisive if it goes to the judges. Not great control or style by Wild Thing onto the flame pit, bumping away. If it is beaten here by Razor, it gets another chance in the semi-final. It goes into the loser's melee. But I just wonder whether it's sustained too much significant damage here, Wild Thing, from Razor. It wasn't the most emphatic Razor performance we've seen, but it was steady enough, grisly in determination, and almost inexorably, Wild Thing was pushed, shoved, clawed, beaked towards defeat and the bitter doom. Razor certainly through to round 2. You'll get another chance in the loser's melee. And there the pirouette, of course.
Three, two, one, activate.
This for a place in the heat final. And Refbot this time, stay out of the way. Exterminator straight in on the attack. 100 kilos, up to 18 miles an hour. Spinning to come again at Megahertz. Low ground clearance for Megahertz. You can see there the side sort of flanges that prevent Exterminator or other opponents getting in underneath. But they've still managed to shove Megahertz 2 into the flame pit. And part of Megahertz 2, the console already has been ripped away and flung across the arena floor. But did you see Megahertz there getting the flipper in underneath Exterminator? And they're not too bothered about that superficial damage. Top of the picture, Mr. Psycho looks on. Into the CPC goes Megahertz and in comes Growler. Very quick across the arena there. Very fast. He uses a skid steer system. Very manoeuvrable. And down crunches the Growler jaws, hydraulically powered and crushing with a pressure of 4 tons on Megahertz 2. Megahertz 2 is now at the mercy of Growler, and thus far it has shown little signs of mercy. Exterminator then on top so far, trying to get the scoop in underneath Megahertz to tee it up for the pneumatic axe to come thrusting down. If Megahertz 2 has a hope here, I think they have to flip Exterminator. We know it doesn't like flipping its lid, Exterminator. And that's exactly what they're trying onto the arena sidewall. Now can Megahertz 2 lift Exterminators 100 kilos up and out of the arena? I don't think so. What are they doing? Did Megahertz 2 try and take on Mr. Psycho? What with those little axes? You have got to be joking. The pit release button activated. Are they mad, Megahertz 2? But who's on top here? Exterminator, to me, has suddenly been bashed and smashed and hopes crushed. Or has it? It's backed away. Megahertz 2 has, we know, had that superficial damage. This is very close, you know, for the right to meet Firestorm 4 in the heat final. Now, will Mr. Psycho's entrance be decisive? Bash! Oh, I think so. Down came that huge club, 30 kilos in weight, travelling at 60 miles an hour, and still Megahertz 2 survive. That's the power of these robots in this series. You want to design one, you've got to come up with something to match this best of the very best. Mr. Psycho looks on. Down comes the grabbing arm. Poor old Megahertz 2 has done very little wrong. Now, because of the mechanical problems to Double Trouble, I'd have 13 black odds on here. Double Trouble needs to get it over and done with early if it's to have a chance. 13 black, 100 kilos, Double Trouble, 100 kilos. You wouldn't think that, would you, to look at the two machines out there? 13 black, the quicker, the more manoeuvrable. They know it too. In it comes, 13 black and Double Trouble. I think one of the weapons has gone. It has. Let's have a look. 13 black came in, and one of the two spinning car flywheel weapons of Double Trouble has come completely off. And 13 black already on the offensive, though they do look pensive still. But now they whip their machine up into a frenzy as Double Trouble can only look on in envy. You don't want to go near 13 black when it's doing that. Oh dear, why did you go near that, Double Trouble? Didn't you hear me? 13 black backs away. Apparently, I'm hearing from the pit they did hear me, but they chose to totally ignore me. Well, it's sensible sometimes. Most people think so. Double Trouble back on the attack on 13 black. And now staying away from trouble. Warren looks on. Double Trouble being pushed and nudged. Not too sure whether both those weapons of 13 black are now working. I don't think they are. This for a place against Stinger in the heat final, don't forget. And the Stinger team want as much punishment caused to 13 black from now on, because I don't think there's any doubt as to which way this battle is going to go. Do you? Unless there's a major surprise now. The controls of 13 black. Steady there in the hands of John Denny, the captain. Double Trouble sticking in there, mind you, and the fans will appreciate that. And it's a dogged performance by Double Trouble on the floor spinner. 13 Black may have just been nudged away there by Double Trouble to an effect whereby the 13 Black weaponry has been stopped. Now, are we going to see that shock, or is that too late from Double Trouble?
3, 2, 1, activate.
Just a quick reminder, George Francis with Chaos 2 has never failed to reach a series semi-final. And immediately on the attack on Dan Tom Kia. Naive and inexperienced driving there, I thought, from Dan Tom Kia. They exposed themselves for Chaos 2 to get in underneath and flick, but both flick themselves up and over there, and it comes shunted to the CPZ. Who's going to right themselves first? Dan Tom Kia springing and jumping, so Kilowatt comes out. Chaos 2 is on the arena sidewall here. We've got some drama in that CPZ, I can tell you. Dan Tom Kia, okay, they're first up and away, and they'll come in now with a full frontal slam on Chaos 2. Chaos 2 trying to flip themselves. Now they have a limited CO2 supply, don't forget. They can't keep trying to right themselves, Chaos 2, and use that flip. But Dan Tom Kia in, and they're out, over and out. Chaos 2 have gone. For the first time ever, that machine has failed to reach a series semi-final. And Dan Tom Kia, Michael Lambert, Daniel Issun, Stephen Gadsby, brilliant. Dan Tom Kia through to the series semi. What a performance, what a machine. This could go all the way. Very resolute. Righted themselves, then came in underneath. 84 kilos of Chaos 2, a well-timed thrust, the flick, and they were out.
2, 1, activate.
Just watch for S3 here. It's the bottom of your picture, left-hand side. Oh, it comes together with Shredder, and one of the weapons of Shredder has shredded itself. They said to me beforehand, it's not a reel-to-reel tape machine. If you think it is, just try and record something. I have recorded something in my notes. Shredder weaponry, USELESS, useless. S3 onto the arena sidewall. Comes back into play there with Armadillo. Down goes the pit. Someone has released it in there. S3 looks like a hammerhead shark out there. We're seeing Rhubarb pressurized. They're still running. Is Shredder. What can it do though? It's sort of toothless. It depended on the two wheels coming together. S3's new weaponry is destroying our arena. It is so powerful. It is destroying our arena. We will remember S3. Sir Kilowatt can't quite believe it. Mr. Psycho's come in to have a look. That there waiting gloomily is Rhubarb for destruction from the hammer. And there she blows, quite literally. That hammer comes down at 60 miles an hour. It weighs 30 kilos. You're in trouble when Mr. Psycho's after you. S3 bashes onto the Shredder once again. All credit to Paul Hunt and his team, Chris Organ and Sam Jones. They're still running Shredder, and S3 is after them. Meanwhile, Rhubarb's about to be counted out. In the middle of your picture, Armadillo still going, but that's the end of Rhubarb, I think. The newcomers, Joshua Pinto, Lee Simpson and Mark McIntyre, who operates the weapons, couldn't really ever get into play there. So Rhubarb counted out. Mr. Psycho's hammer. Now, did that cause any damage at all to S3? I wonder. The electronics are well protected there. This is a good machine. Only Razor beat them last time. But Mr. Psycho has a mission here, and that's to get S3. Rhubarb's being clawed away to end up in a pit or somewhere. Shredder is still in there. There's Rhubarb being twirled around by Sir Kilowatt. We know, of course, they're out of it. Armadillo, let's see if that's still mobile in the middle of the arena. I'm not too sure. The judges will have a better look than I, and the ref bot, of course. Oh, but S3 to me is withstanding all this punishment, you know, from no less than the mighty Mr. Psycho. One of the two new house robots this series, along with Growler. That's the end of poor old Rhubarb. Ended up not in a bowl for tea, but in the pit. And Armadillo, there goes the ref for a cursory glance. S3 now, in comes the claw of Mr. Psycho. He's tried his hammer, he's trying to pierce the armament of S3. I thought that aluminium armor would be a weak link for S3. I was wrong. And so was the ref bot there. Look, it started to count out Armadillo, but there is still life in that machine. They are still mobile, just about there. We can see one of the team members of S3, Pete Alsop, driving. Shredder is still mobile. Armadillo just being slammed by Shredder. If Shredder survives this, so how far can they go in the competition with the weaponry literally bashed, smashed and useless. It goes to a judge's decision, and they've done brilliantly to hang on in there, Shredder. Rhubarb there out, Esri will go to the judges, and Armadillo as well. But for me, well, they were bashed. Surely they'll go out, won't they? And I've heard the judges don't even need to deliberate very long on this. They've made their mind up, I think, very, very quickly.
3, 2, 1, activate.
So here we are, first of our four-way melees in this heat. And immediately, a little bit slowly into the action goes Infernal Contraption there in the middle. 259 looks potentially very, very destructive. Infernal Contraction and Infinity do a little bit of battle, and Infinity is already bent and buckled. Also doing good work out there is Agrabot 3, very experienced. Once beat Razor, I seem to remember, in Robot Wars 3, Agrobot, trying to get in underneath Infernal Contraption. Low ground clearance, Infernal Contraption. Infinity has pressed the pit release button. Well, it needs some sort of merciful release to get it out of its pain! And Infinity has decided enough is enough, and they've driven straight into the pit. They released the pit button and went straight into it, which is sensible. Mind you, when you consider the punishment they'd already taken, was that a sensible move? Now look at this, 259 bumping and barging against Infernal Contraption, which is invertible. It means it can run both ways. A lot of robots can these days. There's Agrabot to the left, that's Infernal Contraption. And it seems to me Infernal Contraption had taken damage, and I wonder if we've seen some sort of plexiglass just thrust across the arena there from 259, ripped away from Infernal Contraption. You can see there some sort of shard has gone from the top of it. Agrabot in against one of the arena sidewall angle grinders. Yes, you can see there the damage to Infernal Contraption on the top, and there's more now. And it was 259 that came in with that mighty weapon. We heard Adam Clark describing it early on again. I'll tell you what, there's some bruisability in that big spinning wheel. We're not talking about spinning fine lace out of that. We're talking about, metal munching. Infernal Contraption is feeling the pain. There's poor old Infinity down in the pit, and Infernal Contraption wants to get in there with him. Go on, please. Move up, punch up, punch up. I want to get in there as well. Record counting them down. Well, the crowd know that it's the end of Infernal Contraption.
Cease.
And they go out, along with Infinity and Agrabot 3, and the impressive 259 are through.
2, 1, activate.
Watch for Tornado's sheer dogged persistence here. Terrible immediately gets into grips with Edgehog. Classic wedge shape with the axe, Edgehog. That's incredible as well. Newcomers, big, bulky, and attacked by Edgehog. Got the axe blade down there, the pneumatic weaponry. And at the moment is at the centre of most things, Edgehog. Trying to attack Tornado. Tornado pushing away there though against Incredible. And now taking on Edgehog. And will spin away very quickly, Tornado. The top speed is only 10 miles an hour, but it's very manoeuvrable in the hands of Andrew Marchant, the driver, the captain of the team. They're pushing against Terrible. Edgehog, meanwhile, getting to grips with Incredible. The meat in the sandwich. Tornado, you see, just comes in, little bash, then spins away again. Revs up for another attack. Incredible at the moment is taking some punishment and can't get out of that hole. A little bit of experience missing there in the Incredible team. They got themselves into a nasty position. Matilda slamming into Edgehog there at the top of your picture. That's the pit release button. Down it goes. You can see Incredible very close to the edge. Better driving, getting away. The ref bot in there having a glance. That's the Terrible team we're watching. Again, it's a new machine, up to 12 miles an hour. The Tornado boys very experienced. What's happened there to Edgehog? It's not impaled, but it's sort of grappled onto the arena sidewall. It's caught there, it's snagged. Terrible lifts the bull-like head, tries to get in underneath Incredible. Matilda in the action as well. If you drive into a CPZ, that's the corner patrol zone in Robot Wars. The house robots can do you. Incredible over the flame pit. A little bit of a roasting. Steaming, but nothing more. The ref bot going in and having a look at Hedgehog still stuck to the arena sidewall. Now Tornado, and also Terrible, trying to flick Inshredable. The clock is counting down against the Hedgehog boys, Stephen Edgerton and Chris Prest. Now Inshredable being lifted up by Terrible. That's the end of Hedgehog, they're out. They've got 2 robots survive into round 2 of this heat. Matilda comes revving in. Inshredable, I think your hopes are in tatters because Dead Metal is in there with that venomous blade. And it looked to me as if Inshredable were having problems there in control. We know the Hedgehog boys are out. There is movement from Inshredable, but not much. Look at the Matilda flywheel. Looks to me as if Tornado and Terrible will be the 2 to go through, but Terrible suddenly bit it. What a turn-up that is, because I thought Inshredable were out, but they're just moving at the end, and Terrible have been pitted and beaten. Well, well, well. Tornado, meanwhile, trundled through safely and ominously.
Two, one.
Activate is called. Kim and Michael Davis were concerned about Panic Attack. They've left the side skirts on. They've left the skirts on. They were talking about removing them. They're left on, and Terahertz is slamming it with the axe, and I don't think Panic Attack has the maneuverability to get away, and Terahertz is causing damage straight away. At the controls there, John Reed. Look at this, it's systematic. Oh, they are battering Panic Attack into submission. One blow after another raining down, and Kim cannot do anything about this whatsoever. He knows his machine is sluggish. The metal is being ripped away. The armament, look at that weaponry and power of Terahertz. Certainly one of the most destructive machines we've seen in Robot Wars to Sith Wars. Only 2 seeds thus far. Chaos 2, the number 5, and Stinger, the number 11 seeds, have crashed out of the competition. But Panic Attack here, the number 8 seeds, are in danger of following them. Shunt is in there as well. The Bulldozer looks a little bit tattered. Has a great split in it, do you see? Down comes the axe. This has been one-way traffic throughout this heat final. Well, Panic Attack, oh! Off comes the top armor. And now the electronics, the electric motors exposed. Matilda's flywheel causing all the damage there after Terahertz had initially prized that lid loose. They're queuing up. Please, RefBot, count them out. And look at this, almost in reverence to what Panic Attack has been in the past, no one is going in there to create more damage yet. They're counted out. I think he knew it was going to happen, didn't he? Maybe it's time now to completely rebuild Panic Attack. Will he have to? Will the House Robots, Shunt and Matilda, totally destroy? Oh, 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 the drop zone's being lined up. Surely not for Panic Attack. Have some reverence. That's better. Put it on the floor, flip the crowd. Don't like it. Cruel, nasty, delicious people. Panic Attack from the floor flipper. That'll do, surely. Away it goes. Sturdy, nothing came out from the exposed innards. Still they want the drop zone. Still they call for the drop zone. Oh no! Shunt, how could you? How nasty! How wonderful! What a lovely... Kim's trying to get away. To fight another day. It's too late. Your time is nigh. What have we got suspended up there? I'm told it's a washing machine. A household washing machine to come crashing down on you. Kim Davis and Panic Attack. No! The end. Bang. It's all over now.
Three, two, one. Activate.
What a dramatic way to start Heat 1 of the Sick Wars with the reigning champions, Razor, there at the bottom of your picture, turning to have a go at Brutus Maximus, but chased into the corner by Raging Reality, getting away, spinning once again into the safety of the arena centre. There, the big, ponderous machine, Brutus Maximus, taking on Razor once again, and Razor trying to get in there on one of the tyres, and what was that being flipped? Wasp went into the air, but look at Razor crushing in here on the tyres of Brutus Maximus, which surely has not long left to survive. Seem to be deflated. There's the team captain of Brutus Maximus trying to get more out of his boy Joey Justina. Wasp is on its side. Now Razor trying to take on Raging Reality. Back comes Brutus Maximus. Only two survive this first melee. Wasp seems to be out of it. Razor pushing against Raging Reality, which is now caught between a rock and a hard place. In other words, between Razor and Sergeant Bash, but he's still trying to gain momentum. Brutus Maximus, we saw there, is still alive, just trundling through the top of the picture, but Razor has control and a clutch on Raging Reality, and once again going for the vulnerable spot. The tyres with the crushing beak, just saw there the back of Vinnie Blunt's balding head there in the control pod. Sergeant Bash looks on, so does the ref pod. Brutus Maximus a little bit lopsided, but still trundling. Razor's had a go at all of them, it seems to me. Where's Wasp in all this? Oh, overturned, over and out. Over to you, Sir Killalot, I would have thought, for the Wasp boys. We know there's no sting in there. And we know the end of the tail is nigh for Wasp. Buzz off and out of here. And fly away to fight another day. It looks gruesome. Now there's Raging Reality, and a little flip from them on Brutus Maximus. Razor had a look. Brutus Maximus, can they overturn? Wasp, we know, is finished. Oh, look at the shredding, though, of that drill. And there's the pit release button. Down goes the pit. That's been activated out there on the arena. And they want someone to go down in the pit. You see the sparks from the arena sidewalls there? Another one of our weapons. And now you can see Razor in on those bicycle wheels we were telling you about. All along, that was going to be a weak link for Brutus Maximus. Sir Killalot also has a little bit of a feel and a grope. Very unpleasant to think about. So is that washing machine suspended above the arena. It's the ultimate of the arena weapons, the drop zone. More on that later. And a wheel goes into the pit of oblivion. Off Brutus Maximus. 3 wheels left on their wagon. And they know where their journey's going to end. Well, on the flame pit right now. So burnt bicycle wheels. Coming to the arena with wooden bicycle wheels and petrol driven. What were they thinking about? And the ref bot is thinking about the count, and Brutus Maximus from Bradford are heading out. Smiles on their faces, 10 on the clock. They're out, says the crowd. Gone from the 6 Robot Wars battles in this first heat. The mayhem, though, goes on. Razor on Wasp. Down comes that great crushing. You see the holes there? Drilled in Razor. That is to cut down on the amount of weight they have in the arena. Up comes Brutus Maximus, and they're long gone. Raging Reality tossed them out of the arena. I like Raging Reality's slipper, you know. Seats is caught. Wasp counted out. Rob Williams, Edward Kelly, and Chris Ford, you've gone. And we know now the team's through. Raging Reality and the reigning champions, Razor.
3, 2, 1.
Brilliant sportsmanship from the rest of the Roboteers to put Wild Thing back together again as Dan Tom Gear, the missing link, now returned, comes in, vents off a little bit of steam and immediately is on the attack and looking much more impressive, taking on 13 Black. One of those discs repaired with a little bit of sticky tape, it would seem. Dan Tom Gear very much on the prowl, smashing onto 13 Black. Looking to come again. Wild Thing being thrust away. Looking the lightweight of these machines, Wild Thing, at the moment. Reached the first round of the semi-final in Series 5. 13 Black, meanwhile, takes a terrific pounding there. And Wild Thing, they're being crumpled and munched by dead metal. I think Wild Thing's choking out of it, but Dan Tom Gear played a major part with that shove on 13 Black. flick, down it came with a crunch. Wild Thing then drove itself onto the flipper of Dan Tomkia, and in came Dev Metal, and the sparks flew. The blade is turning, but there's no one at home, Wild Thing. 13 Black, I think, is at its end as well. Dan Tomkia trying to... Oh! Wild Thing is driven straight into the pit. Dan Tomkia just pressed the release button. Wild Thing unawares drove themselves onto it. Nick and Isabel Adams have gone out at the semi-final stage of Robot Wars for the 4th time. 13 Black, surely to... How can you smile when you've worked so hard on your machine? What are they doing out there? It's great fun. All that work. Great stuff. In defeat, a smile. And so some sort of dance. Yeah, well, the slogan is spin to win, coined by the Hypnodisc Rose family originally. And the Wild Thing team and the 13 Black boys heading out of the series semi-final. Beaten twice then in the initial battle in the semi and here in the losers melee. And Dan Tomkia looks much stronger now, don't you agree? Link back in place, and the full bottle pressure flipper seems to be working. They want the pit, you can hear the crowd crying. I think Dan Tomkia want 13 Black out of the arena, just as they flipped Mighty Mouse earlier on in the series and Chaos 2. 13 Black wants none of it, and is still mobile and is still a threat with those two spinners. And has got in underneath Dan Tomkia. Once again, they're wedged on a grinder. That's the second time we've seen that. Not too clever, is it? So Killalot's there. Dev Metal briefly, he's retreated to have a run, I think, at Dan Tomkia. Just away, 13 Black comes in. That's a strong onslaught from 13 Black. When it crosses the arena like that, it's travelling at 20 miles an hour, but he's just left himself broadside on for a Dan Tomkia shove, and 13 Black goes over yet again. And we've seen, though they claim they're invertible, they can run upside down, it's hardly quick progress. Dan Tomkia, 1 or 2 shoves more. 6. It's going to go to the judges, this. I don't think they'll have too much work to do to decide the winner. Dan Tomkia or 13 Black? Wild Thing are definitely gone.
Three, 2, 1.
So watch out for Firestorm 4 there to your right of your picture, the little yellow wedge. She did 3 for this competition already. We're seeing Cedric Slammer involved and almost turned turtle by Firestorm 4 and the flipper. And indeed, thrust up and over there, Cedric Slammer, a machine that uses a self-righting mechanism. We call them Streamex in Robot Wars, if you're unaccustomed to that phrase. But at the moment, looks very sluggish. And were the wheels turning? If they're immobilised for more than 30 seconds, they are out. The judges will decide. And it seems to me that Firestorm 4 certainly has put paid to Cedric Slammer. Yeah, the weapon wheel, the vertical spinning heavy-bladed wheel is turning, but the ref bot and the judges are looking. There's Preston Sharkey in the middle there, looked a bit quizzical, didn't he? But the pit release button has been activated by Colossus. Oh, and now they're flipped up into the CPZ by Firestorm. Firestorm looking pretty impressive so far. Now they've gone off the megahertz. This is very good driving by Graham Bone. Very aggressive. And look at Colossus having released the pit button. Oh, and Sergeant Bash nearly into the pit. Then Colossus left themselves open for attack by Firestorm, and they've not recovered. The judges look on. I think they'll count Colossus out because they've been in the CPZ too long, having virtually driven themselves in there. I know they're twitching, but for me, they're out. Oh, megahertz meanwhile! On the verge of the pit, Firestorm pushes them into what would normally be a bit of gloom, doom and despondency. I'm not too sure. I think megahertz might be allowed to carry on. For me, this machine, Colossus, and Cedric Slammer there have already gone in this heat. What do I know? Certainly Craig's going to have to help me out here, and the judges. Oh, that's all we need. Firestorm have now gone in. Mayhem, absolute mayhem.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Dominator 2, the seeds, don't forget, number 6 seeds. Smidsy have twice reached heat finals, but have been beaten on both occasions. But they are pushing Dominator 2 over the flame pit. Down comes Dominator's axe. I would say it is the more fearful weapon here, and it's got straight through there onto one of the tyres. Well, a lucky escape for Smidsy, I felt. I don't think the Dominator 2 team pressed home its advantage then. Could they have dragged Smidsy across the arena floor? Or did they not trust their own pulling power? Smidsy slamming Dominator 2 into the side wall. And for me, at this moment in time, Smidsy would be on top. Just seen the Dominator 2 team in there. Smidsy in underneath Dominator 2 again. This is a splendid drive by Smidsy. Onto the angle grinder there. You can see the sparks flicking away. Oh, Dominator 2 though, using the centrifugal force of that floor spinner to good effect. You get a little bit of speed up for the attack on Smidsy. I don't know what damage it caused, and Dominator 2 under attack once again, and perilously close to Growler and the CPZ. Look at those mighty jaws of Growler. Has to go back into its kennel, so to speak. And now Dominator 2 gets that axe to work. The target needs to be in front of Dominator 2 for that axe to have any effect. Smidsy in flames! Away from the flame pit. Again, Dominator 2 gets that axe in, but it was a little tentative nudge, wasn't it? Didn't want to hold on to Smidsy. Letting Smidsy get away once again. Very close this one, the Dominator 2 boys. Just see there, Chris Hall, electronics engineer by trade at the control. Dominator 2's axe comes down on Smidsy. Maybe the tactic, enough blows they think will render the electronics of Smidsy immobile, I don't know. But certainly now Dominator 2 is beginning to work up a head of steam. And it's pushed Smidsy into that CPZ. Oh, Growler! Look at that, both went into the CPZ and Growler came in with a right raw ripping shunt. And Smidsy now needs to get out and get out very quickly. And it's lacking power, you can see that. Look at this. He used a skid steer system, Growler. That's why it's so quick across the arena. Bam! And Smidsy's taken the worst of that. And I think this second round has been turned on its head. I think that damage sustained by Smidsy has cut its power and pace, and Dominator 2 can now grapple. And the whole thing's changed for me. Smidsy is in trouble. And they were well on top. They backed onto the flame pit. You can see only one side seems to be working. They're on fire at the end. It'll go to the judges.
Good fight.
3, 2, 1, activate.
How much damage has been sustained by these robots earlier on in competition? 13 black. We've already seen how one of those spinning disc weapons was immobilized in its second round clash. Stinger with the mighty mace, standing tall, looking. Down comes the mace. See the sparks fly there. Is it caught on the side of 13 black? Again a slam, but no damage done to that main body of 13 black. Got to try and get the mace in underneath one of those wheels, I think. 13 black on their... Oh, something's come off! Stinger there! You can just see it lying on the arena floor. What is it? Anything vital or superficial? They came in looking for the tyres, and certainly something came off Stinger there. We'll wait and see if that has damaged its manoeuvrability. Doesn't seem so yet. But 13 black is on the attack, and the spinning disc button has been released. In the centre of the arena, you'll see a disc spinning around. It can throw robots away, off track. 13 black, very much on track here. And on their way, if it stays like this, to a famous heat victory. The Stinger team are up against it here. They simply can't get any damage done. They whirl and twirl, trying to get themselves into a frenetic frenzy. But 13 Black, stylish and controlled themselves, backing away from any trouble, then coming in on another attack. John Denny at the controls of 13 Black, beaten in Robot Wars 5 in the heats by Corkscrew. Doing well here. Stinger again trying to work up some sort of momentum to get the mace at its finest and most destructive, but it's not getting any purchase on 13 Black. 13 Black turns away. Stinger's mace hangs a little bit limp. He's controlled his machine very well, John Denny. Both weapons are still working. Could well go to the judges this on style, control, damage and aggression. They'd have to vote. Well, that's not good driving, 13 Black. They were in no peril and they went straight onto the flame pit. That'll count against them. And again, Stinger now coming in. Perhaps they sense that something's gone wrong with 13 Black. As the fight turned, oh, Stinger! In trouble! Drove into the CPZ! Sir Killalot has them by the mace. Cease is called. They may have been saved by that, but not perhaps by a judge's decision.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Intrigued to see the weaponry of Revolution 2 here at its finest, immediately coming crumpling down onto the top of Judge Shred 2.5 with the multiple body panels. There's Thor swapping blows with Anarchy. Thor also has the pincers as well as the hammer. It has the team with the blonde wigs. We also have Judge Shred 2.5 with the judges' wigs. Don't get the two confused. There's Revolution 2, confusing things in a bit of a muddle and a melee. Judge Shred takes a blow there from Thor. Their team, great fun. Also, Anarchy in there with a couple of blows, and they're all having a go at the judge. They're the spinning, rotating weapons of Revolution 2 at 200 miles an hour, top speed, that flailing weaponry. Looks a little bit lightweight in body, though, if someone can get hold and flick it out. Thor almost rocking and rolling from Judge Shred's flipper, but down comes the hammer, stroke axe again. That's Anarchy in trouble in the flame pit, but turning away. The Walker, ponderous, but nonetheless effective. Thor moves back to get the axe down. Judge Shred 2.5 is bearing the brunt of all this. Now, did you see a little flick on Revolution 2? And it was very easily flicked up in the air, I felt. Thor has a bent pincer at the front, but down comes the mighty tall axe hammer once again. This is very even. Very, very even at the moment. Blows are being traded. What's happened here? Judge Shred 2.5 against the arena sidewall, and I wonder, in attacking it, has Revolution 2 immobilised itself? Dead Metal comes out with the saw blade, the sparks beginning to fly, and that armament of Revolution 2, as we heard from Roger Webb and Gordon Anderson, not its strong point. Oh, meanwhile, Judge Shred has been flicked by Anarchy, the top of your picture. Can the judge right itself now? Thor is in attendance. They bash down using the SRE-mech, the self-righting mechanism, but it hasn't been a great display by Judge Shred 2.5. They fought in Robot Wars Series 4 and in Series 3. They were knocked out of the heats both times. And that was a good attack by Anarchy, a brilliantly designed robot by Mike Franklin, once built a hydrojet-powered surfboard. If you look through the innards there, you can see 8 legs independently walking, but barely a wobble in the movement of Anarchy. It's the first time we've seen a walker in the history of Robot Wars so balanced. I think Revolution 2 is buckling, don't you? It looks in trouble, and it seems to have pinned itself there on the arena floor. Thor inadvertently has released Judge Shred, trying to flick Anarchy, but there you can get a sense of the weight of Anarchy. 170 kilos around about. Revolution, to me, has been immobilised. They're in trouble, Roger and Gordon, and they're being counted. Now, that's a shame, because it was innovative and good fun. But in the end, to get the great weaponry in, it was out of kilter, wasn't it? Out of balance for Robot Wars, and they're out. Revolution 2. So, one of the remaining 3 will join them out.
Cease.
2 go through, and the judges will have to decide now. Will it be Thor? Will it be Anarchy? We know Revolution 2 have gone. Judge Shred 2.5, depending on a judge's result.
3, 2, 1.
It was at this stage where Firestorm 4 crumbled in the last series, only to fight in the playoff and finish 3rd. Can they go one step further, Graham Bone? Hazel Heslop, they have their dreams. They also have Tornado dogged in pursuit already. And this is what Tornado is all about. It is a frightening little nagger, an irritant. It simply pursues and pursues, but the pursuer turns into the pursued there as the axe came down of Shunt momentarily, and Firestorm gets in underneath Tornado's 2.5 centimetre ground clearance. A lot of chasing going on there. It's cat and mouse. Tornado activates the pit. Down it goes. Firestorm very close. They're concentrating so hard out there. Tornado gets in behind Firestorm. That could have been so telling because the pit was yawning open for a mighty push. Firestorm up over Tornado, and Tornado now can push and shove. Ill-advised by Graham Bone, left itself open to the pushability factor of Tornado, which takes terrific damage there from Shunt. It's cleaved open a crevasse-like slice at the top there, you can see. Now Firestorm drives Tornado into a CPZ. Home of the House Robots, they're chasing each other's tails around there. Firestorm takes damage. What a battle this is. Very even. Firestorm away, head-to-head. Tornado up and over. Brilliance from Firestorm. Tornado, Invertible can run either way up over the top of Firestorm. This is terrific stuff. One of the best fights we've seen in Robot Wars: The Sick War. Firestorm gives chase, only for Tornado to turn and get in underneath again. Tornado wanted that to happen. Come into my pile, I sent the spider to the fly. And Firestorm did just that. Tornado slams Firestorm against the arena wall. Back comes the number 3C to have another dig. Still that pit yawns open. Right at the top of your picture there, you see Firestorm right on the edge of Tornado. Tornado can push and shove. Almost there, almost there. Both of them teetering on the edge of oblivion. Who's going to go down? Oh, Firestorm somehow got themselves out of trouble, but no longer. Yes. And Firestorm crash again, and it's Tornado through. Oh, once again they'll have to play off for 3rd place. What a fight that was. You don't want to get too near Mr. Psycho's hammer blows. Fluffy's weaponry already building up to speed. So too 259's vertical disc. Intriguing this, isn't it? The difference in the weaponry. And immediately Fluffy bashing onto the side panels of 259. And is that a drive belt coming loose there for 259? It certainly seems to be. For me, a drive belt for the wheels. The weaponry still moving. But what has gone wrong? Well, it's not manoeuvrable. Oh my goodness me. There goes a drive chain. 259's in all sorts of bother here. It was the extreme strength of Fluffy's onslaught. And another massive attack has sent 259 toppling. What ease. They simply thrust 259 aside. You are talking 100 kilos there being flicked almost effortlessly. Look at that. They turn and bang. The impact of the weaponry. Enormous from Fluffy. No way back for 259 there. Its very innards were being ripped out by the second. Look, buckled and bent. The bottom of your screen. Oh, and Mr. Psycho's ready as well. As soon as Redbot counts this out. Come on, Psycho. That's Mr. Psycho to you. Go on. Get ready. Bang! Down comes the hammer. The mightiest machine ever in Robot Wars. No, not Adam Clark's 259. I'm talking Mr. Psycho here. Gets ready for another blow. Just bends the metal of 259 and in goes dead metal. A bit of slice and dice. 259, I hope, mercifully, will be put out of its anguish any moment. There's very little of that machine left cohesively joined to another part. This thing's hanging off it everywhere. And down into the pit goes 259. Fluffy, worthy winners. A real match for anything that Germany can put up. Pets was all, I like to think.
Activate.
And away we go. This for a place in the grand final. It's as simple as that. Axe against the push and shove of Tornado. Dominator 2 slams down that mighty axe. Tornado 2. Look at it though, already. What great pushing power that little 98 kilos machine seems to have. Little it's Lionheart. Tornado away once again. Reached the series semi-final of Robot Wars, the fourth Wars, and lost to Chaos 2. The pit release button is activated. Which of these machines has a short shelf life left in Robot Wars? Dominator 2 is on the end of a Tornado push. Matilda awaits. Dominator 2 is teaching. Oh, goodness me, I thought Tornado was going to go straight down the pit, but Dominator 2 ends up in there instead. Oh dear. They look absolutely shattered, and why not? I thought here Tornado was going to go straight down. They landed right on the edge, and Dominator 2 drove themselves in. Fantastic stuff. The sparks flew. They bounced just on the right side of the pit, but Dominator 2 didn't. Over in a trice, but wasn't it worth it?
2, 1. Activate.
Whatever happens to the Sir Chromalot team, they are great value, great fun, great showmen. And Stephen Ray, it would be great to see your machine down the pit. And I see you can see no longer. Boggle-eyed, they are no more. GBH is turned over. The alien has started well. GBH has righted in flamboyant style. This is a terrific melee so far. ICU back in the action, though sightless, but of course those eyes are only boggling for effect. The alien right in there, and Sir Chromalot in the thick of it as well. They've never really lived up to their sheen and preen. Sir Chromalot, can they do it this time? The alien self-right. There's a spinning hammer at the back. I couldn't pick a winner out of these four so far. Very, very close. I see you there onto the arena sidewall. Depressing the pit release button. Almost inadvertently, they were shoved onto it. ICU's axe comes out. Sir Chromalot is flipped over. Can they suffer? Oh, yes. I love that. Looking on, Ray Tate. Looked mean and merciless, didn't he? Wouldn't like to cross him up there in that pod. Look at ICU. This is one of the closest melees we've had in Robot Wars, the 6th war so far. It is brilliant. Shunt comes out with the axe down on ICU, who also a little twitch of its own axe. There you can see the back of Steve Merrill, designer, builder, driver of Sir Chromalot. He runs a video company. ICU comes back in with its own axe going down. There's the alien right at the heart of it as well with its own weaponry. Look at that. Shremek of GBH2. I'll be back, it says on the underside of ICU. I'm not too sure whether they'll be back from that though. Can ICU right themselves 96 kilos? Don't think you will be. Meanwhile, right at the heart of the picture, GBH2 is still trying to create more mayhem. The ref bot comes across. ICU could be the first to fall. Then who knows? It may be a judge's decision to decide who else goes through. Steve Merrill looks on. The ref bot about to count out. ICU, no more. They've gone. So, who else will fall? Sir Chromalot, GBH2 or the alien? ICU into the CPZ for the final rights. The Alien has a grip on Sir Chromalot. GBH2 with an enormous shove came in there. ICU's hopes tattered. Sir Chromalot trying herself right. Look there at the dent. Did you see it? In the truck wheel hub there. And I think Sir Chromalot, this has been their best Robot Wars for me. teetering on the brink of oblivion. No, they could have self-righted just in time. GBH comes in with another slam. Time is ticking down, of course. ICU's first appearance in Robot Wars has ended with them being counted down and out, but not with a final flourish from the floor flipper, of course. Bang and crash. With another little piece of an eye come off there. To Chromalot. Top left, there you've got the big GBH2. Little dome on top of the racing car effect, and it has been fast, it has been nippy. Could take on Le Mans there. You can see Growler at the bottom of your picture. The House Robots coming in, I think. Sir Chromalot's overturning the CPZ. Growler's going to dump ICU in the pits. Gone not in a trice, but in a pool of smoke, and Shunt just came in to have a look. Sir Chromalot desperately trying to self-right the CPZ. I think the clock's going to help them. I think they're going to be counted to a judge's decision. They are, with GBH2 and the Alien. The judges will have to decide. Brilliant battle. So close.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
I think Hydra has to get Dominator 2 into a CPZ, lift it up and let the House Robots play. Dominator 2's mighty axe comes down, but as Matt was saying, it has a poor hit-and-miss ratio. Hydra have overturned Dominator 2, exposing that polycarb base, which we heard split in the last fight. Dominator 2 self-righting very, very quickly. And mean and moody with the axe, gunning for revenge. That was a great attack, though, by Hydra. I've been impressed with 13-year-old Andrew and Dennis. They've combined very, very well as a team. And they could spring a mighty surprise here. Dominator 2 looked cagey, didn't it? Don't hit the arena floor, there's no point, Dominator boys. Again, Hydra split them up. Dominator 2, can they self-right? Yes, they can, and very quickly and very stylishly too. Down comes the Dominator 2 axe. So it's grappled Hydra, but what are they going to do now? Because it's certainly, for me, fought shy of pulling Smithy into a pit in the previous battle. And again, it's let Hydra go. The judges will mark against there. Dominator 2's axe blows. There it sticks. Hydra away. Backs for another attack. Dominator 2. Great rhythm with the axe, but what damage is it causing the Hydra team? Is it superficial, or are they puncturing and getting through to the very heart of the matter? The Dominator 2 team there, Chris Paul Elliott. Hydra on the arena side walls. Needs to get away, and I'll tell you something, Hydra all of a sudden does look a little battle-weary. Trying once again to get the pneumatic flipper in underneath Dominator 2. But there is a spring in the step of Dominator 2 now, or is that just my imagination? And they are puncturing Hydra. Look at the holes in Hydra, that must be causing damage. And Hydra is a wearied bot out there at this moment in time. Once again, the Dominator 2 team, we've seen them very experienced. Through to the series semi-final in Robot Wars, the 5th Wars and the 4th Wars. Good robots have beaten them in the past. It's taken a good robot, like Hypnodisc, like Pussycat. And Hydra up against it now. You just sort of sense that it had turned when Hydra came out of that attack moments ago and looked sluggish for the first time in this entire heat. It is slowed, I would say. The control response has been diminished. The weaponry looks less effective. Dominator 2 are well on top now. There is a gleam in their eyes. They know it. Hydra. Can we get a grip? I don't think so. It's down to its last breath. Hydra, secure a lot of weights. Well, what a good attempt by Hydra, but Dominator 2 has it for me. Splendid heat final.
2, 1. Activate.
Will the new kid on the block, 259, destroy Wild Thing, who've been there, done it, put the logo on the back. 259, bunching and bruising into Wild Thing, tossing it over and over and over. Look at this. This is determined destructibility from 259. Dog with a bone there. Wild Thing. Can there be any life left after that sort of formidable onslaught? Well, Nick Adams is very experienced. He's a good driver. And he turns Wild Thing away from the blade onto the side of 259 to hold on there. Holding on for grim death, really. Stay away from that spinning flywheel. Oh, has the wheel stopped? Wild Thing got away from that sort of bashing and bruising, and then the spinning wheel seemed to stop. Now this could be absolutely decisive, because without that wheel, what has 259 got? At the moment he's running away, to be honest. He's pressed the pit release button, Adam Clark, and now it becomes very cagey, and I wonder who's got the extra thrust and shove. 259 weighs in at 100 kilos, Wild Thing 97. But Wild Thing, piggybacking up on 259, has turned this battle on its head there. I don't know whether it was by design or luck, which is what Nick Adams said they'd need at the start of this show. And certainly 259's weapon being immobilised has played into Wild Thing's favour. Now it becomes a real tug of war. Wild Thing pushes 259 back onto the flame pit. This is real nip and tuck now. Oh, and do you see the belt there, right in the arena centre? That's Adam Clark's weaponry drive belt that's come off. So no wonder that big old circular disc is no longer spinning, and Nick Adams looks on. Wild Thing has come right back into this after 259's destructive onslaught early on. Now is Wild Thing still going? Can Adam Clark yet turn this battle, or is his machine finished? I think 259 is immobilised. There's the belt. I think it is finished. Well,
Cease.
this is a major upset. For me, Wild Thing will go through.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Bigger Brother. Only Razor stopped them last time. Behemoth getting the front bucket scoop though. Oh, into action very early on, and Bigger Brother's in trouble in the CPZ. Oh, brilliant self-righting. Magnificent stuff from Ian Watts driving. What a quick flip Bigger Brother has. Very deft, nippy across the arena, spinning a zero-turning circle. Over it goes again. Rights itself 96 kilos in weight, Behemoth 4 kilos heavier, with the waspish yellow and black stripes. But Bigger Brother just waiting. It's time to come in with a side attack because he knows he can get in underneath Behemoth's 3-centimetre yawning ground clearance and drive Behemoth against the arena sidewalls. Is he going to go out? The pit depress button has been released. Behemoth's in trouble now. What a great fight. This is it. Piggyback, and down you go. Oh, what a good battle that was. And Ellie and Joe Watts and Dan Ince can celebrate. Oh, the Pritchard boys and Kane Aston did well. A much better machine. But when they got in underneath, waited their moment and flicked Behemoth up, it was always going to be in trouble. Up it went. Bigger Brother clamped, drove on and dumped them.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Already they see the arena floor spinner in action and the spinning machine that is Warhawk in a little bit of trouble already. Commangetrix's axe comes down on Smidsy. Once previously reached a heat final, it was in the last Wars, Robot Wars, the 5th Wars. Have they improved again, Smidsy? Warhog again taking some punishment. We're seeing there the Common Getterix team from behind. Now a little flip from St Agro, opening up the jaws of its flipper. Wonderful shirts, great design, the boys from Cornwall. Can they go through? Now we're seeing Common Getterix in action once again, using the big lifter against the Arena Sidewall. Warhog! And the Arena Sidewall is literally in splinters. That was the spinner of Warhog, pressurised, that did that damage there. Common Getterix with the big 100-kilo shove. Warhog again slams against the Arena Sidewall, so we know the destructibility of that spinning disc. And the blade, we know how heavy it is, but is it fully under control? St Agro has activated that pit release. I wonder who's going to go down. Warhog, to me, seems out of control. Oh, piggyback! Lifted up on Smithy. Where's he going to go from there? Splendid stuff. Smithy took him for a ride. Down comes Warhog once again. Warhog's totally out of control out there in the arena. Smithy doing some damage. Controls, who needs them when we've got fun like this? Common Getterix slamming back into the CBZ. What is going on out there? Do they know? I don't know. Come on, boys, get a grip. Growler certainly will. Common Getterix against the Arena Sidewall seems to have impaled itself with its axe. Growler thinks so. Is having a little bit of a nudge. Well, who's under control? Who's still alive here? I'll have to ask Craig. I have not got the faintest idea. Common Getterix has certainly caught its own axe. Oh, it's now frayed and it's gone into the pit. No! Very nearly. Ooh, and the crowd. Dear, what? Almost gone in, and now finally St Agro's bitten the dust and they've gone in. Oh, dear. Well, Warhog's still out there, I think. Smitsy's pushing it into the CPZ. Shunt's axe comes down. This is great stuff. Look at the eyes of Warhog. Common Getterix is still there as well. Certainly Smidsy has done brilliant work for me once again. Smidsy knocked out of the heats 3 times in the past. Can they go one step further this time? Warhog's been great value, although I'm not too sure the judges will agree with me if it goes to a judge's decision against the sideboard again. I love the eyes and the tusk and the nose out there, Warhog. Did it ever really know what it was doing? Growler backs in. Warhog piggybacking again on Smidsy. Trying to take a ride through to the later stages. It's not going to work, boys. Go on, Smidsy, get rid. Wait, oh no! Smidsy would have got in the pit there, surely by itself. Very delicate driving by the Smidsy team, Mick Reed's team there. Warhog's almost gone. Surely it's trying to piggyback its way out of the pit, but it's gone. Surely. Oh, that was brilliant. That's one of the greatest battles ever.
Yeah, our axes are damaged. Did you like that fight? Did you like that fight? This is what we want.
Three, 2, 1.
What effect will the spinning blade at the front of Tornado have? Already on the attack, on Razor, and Razor! On the backward step, it seems! On the back foot, Razor, or are they? They've come and grappled Tornado's extended frame! That frame necessary to support that mighty horizontal spinning disc. Razor has stopped the disc starts flying again. Razor has that extra front claw bit to the beak to try and stop the spinning disc. But for me, Razor's extra weaponry seems to be bent and buckled. And is it flapping in the wind? It grapples with Tornado again. What a final! For Robot Wars, the Sick Wars, intrigue, mystery, suspense. Razor trying to grab hold. Refbot, get out of there if I was you. Shunt involved as well. It's all going off in the arena, I can tell you. Tornado's blade has been silenced and stopped there, but it's pushing into Razor. Razor bows its beak forward, but it can't get to the very heart of Tornado because Tornado has protected itself with that framework. Look at this. Forget the Tornado spinning blade. We didn't see this happening. The framework has stopped Razor's attackability. Brilliance from the Tornado team. Can Razor respond? Do you know, I think that little hook thing on the edge of the beak is to try and get at Tornado and lift up the framework, but Razor aren't going to get a chance, are they? Because Tornado slams and bangs. In comes Tornado again. Is this the end of an era? Is this the end of the Razor reign as champions of the UK? They are being smashed into submission. They cannot get away from the arena sidewalls, and the red bot comes in, and all of a sudden, the clock takes on a lurid and awful hue if you are a fan of Razor. They cannot get themselves released. They are pegged in there, and Tornado, systematic in its pressure, in its desire, and in its drive. Finally, Razor is released. There, do you see the little hook? I think it was intended to get in underneath that framework, but Razor's game plan has not worked, and Tornado's has. Right from the start of the series, they boasted of the interchangeable weaponry. We've seen a pusher, we've seen the little spinning disc, we've seen a front grab, and now we've seen the mighty spinning blade. And Tornado is finally pushed back by Razor, but is it too little? Is it too late? What a final this is! What heart Razor has! The sparks of dead metal fly onto the wings of Razor. Can they lift themselves and yet turn this battle around? They're trying to claw Tornado, trying to gain some purchase, but Tornado with that four-wheel drive, again, driving them back into the CPZ, pushing them into shunts, axe as it comes down. Razor and Ian Lewis know they've got a real fight now to retain their crown. Shunt lifted, Razor bashes down. They simply can't get at Tornado's machinery. They can't get at the exposed tyres with the beak. Vinny Bloodlet's concerned. Razor now trying to build up momentum for another attack. How can they get beyond that latticework frame? They can't get into the heart of the matter. They can't get into the eye of the storm that is Tornado. Razor trying to force its way back into the final. You heard the pit release button being activated. Finally, Razor has lifted Tornado. Can they take them to the arena sidewall and push them out? It must be their only hope this late on. Tornado's weight, a huge factor here. Oh, that they can't get them down the pit. Look at that, it's an anti-pit device as well. An APD, we have never seen one before. We've heard about them, we have never seen an APD until now. And there it is. It goes to the judges, what innovation and what drama. Certainly, Tornado think they've done enough. Or have they? Because I'm hearing that the Razor boys believe Tornado were suspended in the pit. Not above it, but in the pit. That's one for the judges to mull over. More twists and turns than an Agatha Christie.
Did you like that fight? Did you like that fight? If you think Tornado would make some noise, if you think Razor would make some noise, this has been so controversial. There's been shenanigans in the pit. There's been psychological warfare going on, adaptations, alterations. It's far too close to call. Gonna have to go to the judges, and then they're gonna make up their mind until they've inspected both robots for damage. So, while they're making up their minds, let's review the highlights of that fantastic battle.
Well, all the early controlled aggression from Tornado. Damage caused to Razor. I'm not too sure how much damage was caused. They were slammed into the angle grinder. They couldn't get out. And that's where the systematic attack began, repeatedly. So good marks here for Tornado with their innovative design of weaponry and the protective cell system. But Razor came back. Look at this. They did get the claw in. Were Tornado in the pit or above it? What do you think? So close. The judges there are in the pits looking at the damage sustained.
This is damage. Obviously, this is new. This was perfectly straight.
The judges have made their decision. It's tense, isn't it? Are you nervous? Oh, they're looking at style, control, damage, and aggression. We have a new UK champion! Guys. How did you feel when you walked around the pits and you saw what they'd done to their robot?
It's sort of pretty good, actually. I think a lot of the machines are going to develop that way, and there'll be interchangeable weapon systems that will develop. It seems to head that way. So, yeah, it'd be quite tricky, actually. It'd be good. You'd be bolting last-minute things on.
Yeah. Do you think your adaptation worked?
It did at the end.
It did at the end when you picked it up?
That's it. That's it. But it was just a little bit close on time. They were so close in the pit.
They're the 12 seeds.
Well,
Giant killing act.
They joined the sort of elite club, you know, the Chaos, the Panic Attack, the Razor, and all the other guys.
And now we got Tornado. Very gracious in defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, please, the ex-UK champions, but still the world champions, Razor! I mean, who had the idea when you were fighting Razor to make those changes?
I think it might have been my idea. We sat down and thought about, after losing to Razor twice in Extreme, our vulnerability to different weapons, and we thought, well, we need to build something.
Yeah, it was a very clever interpretation of the rules. There's been arguments raging. I mean, is your robot small enough to fit in that pit?
It's within the maximum size allowed in the rules, and that is a lot bigger than what will go in the pit.
Well, you can't say further than that, really. You were quite ungentlemanly. When Refbot was trying to get them off the arena wall, you just went and started giving them a right good kicking.
We're here to win this. This is not about being nice. This is a war.
The crowd were with you. They certainly were. I mean, it was one of the most exciting fights we've ever had on Robot Wars. You're the 12 seeds. You've dismantled everyone in your path. You are worthy UK champions. And to give you your trophy, can I please introduce the very lovely Miss Philippa Forrester.
Haven't got my bikini on, sorry. I didn't think I'd do that to you. Congratulations, it's really heavy.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It is.
Hey, show it to the crowd!
Don't drop it!
Robot Wars champions. I bet you feel ecstatic, don't you?
Yes, excellent feeling.
Well done, guys. So you'll be back to defend your championship, won't you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Congratulations. No one thought you could do it. Not being seeded 12th, but you've done it. One more last round of applause for the UK champions, please. Team Tornado! Well, like the fireworks,
Hear the applause.
we've got a brand new champion on Robot Wars. Bye-bye.